about to get really get started on the guitar here. First thing I need to do is fix this headstock. Okay, so what I've done here is I've mounted my handheld belt sander in my vise on my workbench, my wooden vise, and the tail vise on the workbench. This is an old workbench. It was here when I bought the house and I inherited it from my uncle who had passed away. This is going to give me control, nice control. In fact, I took a block of mahogany and ran it this way on the belt and was able to get a nice control, maintain a nice square corner on this edge, and so this ought to work. I'm a lot less nervous about this. This does run toward me here, so I have it. I have a nice control. It pulls me back. If I was using my big 6x48 belt sander, it runs toward me and pushes you, and so it can be hard to control. So I was a little worried about that. So here goes nothing. We're gonna take this and the angle on this is 90 degrees to the face. Right, it's 90 degrees to this face. So I should be able to eyeball that pretty well and get a nice edge here. I'm going to take it down kind of from the middle tuning key out to the edge. Hard to get in here. That went better than it had any right to. That is a entirely acceptable result right there. Freaking awesome. It almost doesn't even... It would be hard. You'd really have to know that that's what had occurred to that edge there. I still have a little bit of unevenness right here. I'm gonna give it one more go here and take that off. That's it. That's all that took. I am very entirely pleased with that. Well, let's see. There's still a slight hump right here. I think that I'm going to not do this with the power tool anymore. I have a great sanding block concept. Here, let me grab it real quick. While you're still down here zoomed in, this sanding block idea is from Next Level Carpentry. You look them up on YouTube. This is a wedged block, and this is the same belts that go on here. So, I have plenty of these belts, and that way I only have to buy one, and it also gives me a nice sanding block, for working on nice flat. It's just a piece of 2x. He makes his narrower. He runs them down to about 1 inch. I have really big hands, so for me a 2x is great. There's like a groove in here that's like stopped. I just did that on the big 6x48 belt sander, and that lets me get in here and really smooth things out nice and flat. This is a smoother belt than this one is, so I can actually pull that one off here and put it on here, right, and have a perfectly good sanding block here. And he makes them in makes them up in different grits and writes on what the grits are. I just change them out because I don't use it that much. Okay, so that's the first. That's the first step. All right, so that's the first step. I was really nervous about doing that, but nice being able to have pieces of wood of the same species I can test it on. Then I got a whole lot less nervous once I figured out how to do that. The problem was work holding on this instrument because the top is already carved and it's mahogany. It's really soft. I was really worried about holding this in place while I was trying to do that. So I'm glad that went as well as it did. That was one of the things I was most nervous about. Man, belt sanders eat mahogany so fast. So I do still want to shape this just a little bit, and I'm just basically going to put this down on the bench and make sure that get rid of that ridge. The other thing I'm trying to be careful of is make sure I don't round over this point. I want this point nice and sharp. And that's working really well. I can take this block and have a nice flat area to sand on. The grain on this mahogany, of course, is so open that even with a coarser grit like that, what's on that block right now, it just comes out fine. It's going to look really great. Yeah, just a little bit right there, and with that block plane, got rid of that. Get rid of that one hump right there. So I might just shape it just a little bit more, but that'll do, donkey. That'll do. All right, so the next thing I need to do, woodworking-wise, is to make this cavity for the pickup larger so that I can use these pickups in here. So I'm going to center this really kind of by eye. The distances from the hole to the edge are the same on both, so just for, I mean, I know that there's a particular way that these really have to go when you mount them, but they're symmetric in the mounting. So I'm just going to mark. Here's something I do with my pencils. I sharpen them. I don't know if you can tell here, but I sharpen them on the belt sander so they're flat and they're an edge. That way you get a nice sharp edge here. You're not using a round point to try and draw precise lines of things. Alright, so that's what I need to cut out here, and I may actually need to cut back into here a little bit for the mounting ears to go a little bit further forward. Yeah, I need to square this. I need to square this off to about, well, maybe not. That should be fine. That should be fine. I just need to take these two corners off, right here and right here. Alright. So, this is such a small amount of wood, I'm not going to try and do this with a machine. I'm going to do this with a chisel. This is like my one really good chisel. It is mirror polished and razor sharp. The one decent chisel that I own, and it should be pretty straightforward to pare this mahogany down. Yeah, this is gonna cut right apart. This gives me plenty of control. I'm not worrying
about a router getting away from me. Alright, this is working, but it's going to take a few minutes, and I will need beer. Alright, that's one corner nice and clean. Alright, so I got a nice clean edge here. This will be hidden by the pickup surround anyway, but might as well do it right. Alright. Of course, you're paring across the end grain here, so it's hard to get it super clean on the inside. But let's see if that's any there. Yeah, you can see that or not. Yeah. Good. Okay, now then, this pickup should fit. Oh, pretty close. Alright, I've got to take off a little bit of a notch up here on the edge, outside edge too. I am going to mark this. Rinse and repeat. Yeah, these are just little tiny notches, but again, they're end grain, so they're a little bit of a pain. Don't want to push too hard. Sometimes rocking it back and forth like this can give you a cut without having to force things too much. I want to undercut it a little bit before I hit it with the chisel. I'll hit it with a mallet. I got a little bit of a breakout there. I don't want to do that. Alright, I cut that grain along that back face. Sometimes the mallet gives you a little bit more control, though. You can little bits of pressure exactly where you need it. Not that I'm any brilliant carver or anything, but I have done a little bit of this kind of stuff. In reality, I don't need to go all the way to the bottom of this cavity, but I'm going to, just to make it cleaner. Three out of 4. Now, lesson learned, I need to cut this edge right here down along that face so that I don't get any chip out. Let's clear chips out of here. Okay. Try this one more time. It's symmetric both this way and that way, so I don't have to worry about which way I'm doing that. There we go. That's more the thing. That ends up looking pretty good. And as I said, with the pickups around, you know, you won't even see that, but might as well look nice. Okay, I think that's about all I'm doing tonight. I'm super happy with the way this came out. Even unsanded, this is really smooth, and that fit in there perfectly. No major mistakes. So taking something that's this far along and hacking on it is always feels like a little dicey, but I'm pretty happy with it. There are some places where this wood has gotten structurally compressed. There goes my good chisel. Banged in a little bit right here right here. You might even be able to see that little white. There's a little white mark right here. It's actually something that has gotten banged into that. I'm wondering whether I can steam that back out. This one's not deep enough that I'm going to worry about it. That can be hidden, or just basically removed by sanding. That one's a little deep, and it's got like a sharp edge. I might be able to pull the grain up a little bit with that with some steam. That's just superficial. Most of the rest of this is all superficial. Fortunately, nothing on the face. There's this one mark right here, but that actually feels like it's something. You can see a little black mark, this little black mark right here. That actually feels like there's something on the surface here. What is this? 220. Well, whatever it is, I think it's just a bit of a color defect in the mahogany. Really do this in 220. I don't feel it at all. So I think that's just a color gradation in the mahogany itself. Yeah, that sanded right off. I said this thing's been banging around in my shop for 15 years. I don't have any idea how long it's been away from the factory. But the edges along here are sharp. Yeah, so when I'm just doing a little bit of light sanding, I did it right a little bit right here and got that mark off. There's that black mark, but I really don't even feel it. Just looks like it's a pigment in the wood. So obviously, of course, a lot of sanding to do. You know, one thing I'll tell you guys about sanding, in I'll mention it again when I'm actually doing sanding on this guitar. Of course, this is kind of straight, 220 paper-backed, 3M, sandpaper, kind of run-of-the-mill sandpaper. But I got this other stuff. I'm looking for a piece of it. It's on a rubber sheet. It's also made by 3M. Here we go. This stuff, they say lasts 15 times longer. It's just, I don't know what it's called, but it's stretchy, and it does not load up at all. And the grit is bonded to the plastic. Whatever this plastic backing is, the grit is bonded to it really well. This stuff lasts forever. They say it lasts 15 times longer. I'm buying it. It's really pretty good. It maintains its sharpness on its grit and everything. You can kind of grab it for the soft areas where these things are, where these contours are round. Of course, you're not seeing this, are you? It works really great. And then you can put it on a block, of course. You can just wrap it around something. I happen to have a nice piece of maple right here, so I could wrap it around this maple block and use it as a flat, flat sanding. This is a wedge for a piece of furniture that I made. That I ended up having to remake the wedge. Something in my bathroom. Here's another one. Beautiful hard maple wedges. This wood was actually. I don't know if anybody. Those of you of a certain age are going to remember when elementary school has these maple wooden balance beams. That's what this came from. This wood is fabulous. It was a balance beam that they were getting rid of from the elementary school. All right, that'll do me for tonight. Thanks for watching, and we'll be on to probably sanding this next. At least rough sanding it. And I'm going to have to I got some mechanical stuff to do first. Maybe I get the bridge mounted. The bridge is one of the more interesting things to mount because you have to have these 6 screws exactly in the right place, exactly in a line. Their heights dictate the whole bridge height. You can individually adjust them, of course, with these. There's a hex key adjustment screws in every one of these. Reminds me a little bit of what Ben Crow is currently doing when building his. Which one is he using? The kit guitar he's currently doing. This is in May of 2021. So if you go back and look in April, May 2021, he's building 2 guitars, and one of them he's making custom bridge pieces for. Of course, he's making them out of copper. I think he's making them out of copper or brass. I don't remember which. And like I said, I want to take these and I want to brass them. So I don't have a brass wheel here yet. I need to pick one up and look at taking this all apart and brassing it all and putting it all back together. It should be so cool looking. I'm really looking forward to having like a golden mahogany guitar. All right, that's enough for tonight. Thanks.